Hey, all my Gemini friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about your March 2023 monthly horoscope. This is a month that is going to make all the other months of 2023 feel a little bit dull in comparison. I'm not saying the other months aren't going to be exciting in and of themselves, but March will see Saturn move into Pisces and Pluto dip its toe into Aquarius. I've done separate videos on those two planets, so please go ahead and check those if you haven't had a chance. These videos that I'm talking about are based on whole sign Western astrology. So I'm looking at Gemini rising. When I'm talking about the house structure, it's based on that. If you don't know your rising sign, you can go to any one of the free birth calculators. You just need your exact time of birth and your location to determine that information. This video is also, it is applicable to Gemini moon as well as Gemini sun. The house structure will just not be the same. And then this is also based on Pacific time zone because that's where I am. So again, just adjust for your location. So as I said, Gemini, it's a big month. We're going to see, as I said, Saturn changing signs and Pluto changing signs, and we see Mars leaving your first house. This is probably going to feel like a bit of a relief, as Mars has been a little bit cranky in this particular transit, having spent so much time in Gemini. Mars likes to mosey along. So let's start with March 3rd. March 3rd, we're going to see Venus in an exact conjunction with Chiron and Jupiter. Venus and Chiron are both at 13 degrees Aries, and Jupiter is at 12 degrees Aries. This is in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, the 11th house of your large networks, meaning like the World Wide Web, your social media, the people that you interact with. This influence is going to be felt very palatably up until the full moon on March 7th. We have a full moon and Saturn changing signs on the same day. But going back to Venus and Chiron and Jupiter, this is an opportunity to really look at, for Gemini, how much time and attention are you spending to your own evolution? How much time and attention are you spending to patting yourself on the back for all the hard work you've already been doing? As I said, Mars has been in your first house for almost 7 months when it finally leaves and moves into Cancer at the mid to late March. So you've really been tasked with being asked to be brave about how you view yourself and how you the permissions you give yourself to rewrite some of the story of your life. Here, what we're seeing is, the 11th house is our hopes and dreams. In no short order, Venus will be moving into your 12th house, will give you an opportunity to break ancestral patterns that haven't worked for you. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because what I want to offer here is Venus is an opportunity to think about allowing your individual expression, your individual point of view to expand and grow, and to be brave in that expression, and that expression potentially bringing you bounty. And I want to offer this because Chiron represents the wound, but it represents the gift that transforms the wound into a tool. And inadvertently, the wound becomes a gift in and of itself. So it's not just the wisdom that we garnish from the wound, but the tool that we garnish from the wound. And here, I think this is an opportunity for you to absorb and take in your evolution. Mercury moves quickly. By nature, Gemini wants to move quickly, and it's the twin, so it can go back and forth. Here is an opportunity for Venus to anchor in your self-worth, to be brave in your willingness to look at, not to expect perfection or not to always be looking forward, but to just stop for a minute and pat yourself on the back, because I think this is super powerful. Because on the 3rd, Mercury, your ruling planet, will enter Pisces, and it's in a conjunction with Saturn at the anaretic 29th degree of Aquarius. And so as Saturn is just a few days away from moving into Pisces, the house of ancestors, the house of karma, the house of, when I think of ancestors, I think of tribal ancestors. I don't just think of my grandma, my grandpa that I knew in this lifetime. I think of the energies that I have experienced throughout my various life journeys. So here, Mercury in Pisces is giving you an opportunity to dig to a more spiritual dynamic and to applaud all the hard work you've done. It's time to reward yourself, Gemini. Don't forget that Saturn rewards for the endurance, and Mars in your first house has really asked you to endure sort of this onslaught and in your face kind of energy about how not only are you showing up to others, but how you perceive you're showing up. So this is super powerful. On the 7th, Saturn again enters Pisces. It's only going to travel from the 0 to 7 degrees in 2023, which is very pivotal because 2023 is a 7-year. And again, I want to encourage you to go look at that separate video. I've created a playlist. So because I did separate videos and detailed videos for each rising sign. And because the same day as Saturn enters Pisces, we have a full moon at 16 degrees Virgo. This is the 6th of 7 full moons in a row at the 16th degree, which is the intuitive degree of Cancer, the self-nurturing degree of Cancer. And this is an opportunity to really look at where you've enslaved yourself. Again, Mercury rules Virgo as well as it ruling Gemini. And the sun here, we know the full moon is in opposition. The sun will be in Pisces. I'm sorry. The sun will be in Pisces, making a sextile, which is a favorable aspect to Uranus and Taurus. Taurus being your 12th house is some sort of epiphany, historic epiphany that allows you to really start to not try to exterminate your history, but to now allow it to work for you. We see on the 10th, Jupiter will be making an exact conjunction at the 14th degree with Chiron. Again, I think this is very powerful because Chiron, initially that wound gets expanded, and then it propels us into the questions of who am I, what am I, and where am I going, and why am I going there? And on the natural zodiac wheel, the house that is directly opposing you is Jupiter. So this is really an opportunity to see the wisdom of the mercurial mind that wants the everyday details and information, and is aware of the human structure of our speech and our what we absorb in the way of information, and then allowing that to be a balancer for the more broad, high-minded philosophical thoughts that Jupiter represents. So here, you're getting an opportunity to extract wisdom from your wound. Now, on the 13th, we're starting to see Mars at the last degrees of Gemini, starting to make a trine to Saturn moving into Pisces. This will be felt throughout the whole month, and it gets the strongest when Mars enters Cancer. I think you're going to literally feel a sigh of relief when that happens, because by the 29th, Mars will be at 2 degrees Cancer, making an exact trine to Saturn at 2 degrees Pisces. Cancer is Gemini's 2nd house, representing your self-worth, what you believe about yourself. And this trine to Pisces is giving me this opportunity to really examine my 10th house energy, meaning my career, how I'm operating in my everyday life. Has my mind and my projection of what I see with my eyeballs and what I know is in my bank account kept me from allowing myself to expand in ways that Mars was pushing you to expand for the last, all throughout 2022, essentially, because I feel like this trine is about nurturing oneself and trusting your intuition, where you may have a tendency to doubt your intuition because you're ruled by intellect. So this is an important opportunity for you. On the 16th, Venus will enter her rulership of Taurus in your 12th house. So this is an opportunity to benefit, to feel a sense of liberation, because as she traverses your 12th house, she is going to ask you to use your talents. She's going to ask you where you could live a more comfortable life if you were more individualistic, when you would almost put yourself away from those that trigger you, that trigger the obligation or the sense of duty that may be attached to this energy. Because by the 30th, Venus will be in an exact conjunction with Uranus. So this is an opportunity to have an epiphany, to liberate yourself, to start to play to a future that is possible for you versus what you have been felt sort of chained to for quite some time, it feels like. On the 20th, the sun will move into Aries, and the very next day we will experience a new moon in Aries at 0 degrees on the world axis. It's like spring on steroids, okay? So where we always have a new moon in Aries, this one being at 0 degrees, and we're just moments away from Pluto moving into Aquarius at 0 degrees. And again, we're feeling this new energy from Saturn. So this is going to be very powerful. It's also a very important day, an opportunity to plant seeds that will move your story forward. You know, we're seeing this Aries 11th house, and I'm really focusing more on the personal emotional dynamics right now that are being offered, because the 11th house is what they call an upachaya house. It rewards over time. It's almost like the more mature you become, the more opportunities for benefit there are and resources. And I think this is really powerful as you plant the seeds for this new experience that you want to have, and these new sense of ease. I keep getting this feeling with Gemini that your career sectors is being focused upon recently, and that it is, maybe there are some of you that are experiencing a bit of a hamster wheel. You know, there's movement, but it's not really moving things forward. There's Mars in your first house, but at the same time, Spirit will tell you that oftentimes when you perceive no movement, Spirit is on the case. Spirit is putting people, places, and dynamics in alignment with you so that you can then benefit from them. So you may want to start to plant the seeds for your individuality and for expressing yourself in a way that feels a sense of passion and excitement. On the 23rd, we see Pluto move into Aquarius. Again, I did a separate video covering the Saturn and Pluto transits into these new signs, and I very much encourage you to watch them. By the 25th, that trine between Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, it feels very powerful because we are emotionally connecting in a brave way to our history. And now we are using that history to build a new foundation that is much stronger and much more capable of thriving. That's what I want to say. So while March energies, I think initially will have a bit of a jarring feel. I can't help but feel like almost like I have personally witnessed the changing of signs, you know, because Mercury and Venus and move very quickly. Obviously, the sun and the moon do as well. I felt it palatable. So your awareness of this, Gemini, your awareness of this transit will help you ease your way into it in a way that is very self-nurturing and self-supportive and self-encouraging and motivating and inspiring. So take advantage of these energies because I think they're really going to be powerful, because we're going to see in no short order, Aquarius is your 9th house. So your belief system is really going to be renovated. And it feels like the renovation empowers you versus feeling like it has pulled you under in some way. Okay, that's it for me. Please like, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell because I've got lots of content coming out. And please comment. I read them all. I try to respond to them all. I don't always accomplish my mission but I do try. And please join me on Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Pacific time, for our live stream. That's where we look at the transits for the week ahead, and we get the angels' advice by doing angel readings and pulling some tarot cards. So I hope you'll join me for that. And in the meantime, Gemini, I'll see you next month. Peace out.